20 to 25 minutes. I've got some stuff to do here this evening, and since the live is not setting up the way I would like it anyhow, I had two choices here. One, whether or not to not even do this and just do it kind of like an update. Two, I'm just going to do like 25 minutes. We'll do a live together and talk in vertical, and we'll just make the best of it. I did want to go over a few things, you know, with the Elliot wave and things like that, and actually talk about how long it's taken in the past for XRP to push out, you know, for the out of wave 4s here in the past. But I understand that it's in vertical, I really do. And I'll wait a second for some of you to get here, and then we'll be able to talk for a second. I'm only going to do this for like 25 minutes. It's you know, it is what it is. But it is in vertical, yes. It won't let me put it in horizontal tonight, but nonetheless, I want to do this for about 25 minutes until about 6:30, maybe 20 minutes. I might only do 20 minutes because we're going to eat dinner anyhow, but I was going to wait and just do a whole hour. But for the fact that I can't set it up properly, I'm just going to, we'll do it in the vertical setting tonight and let YouTube get their jollies off this evening. Welcome in, everybody. Whether it's 25 or 50 of you that get in this setting, I appreciate it. We'll make the best of it, and, you know, we'll just answer some things here as well. Jennifer, welcome in, love. Thank you so much for being in here. I really, really appreciate it. Jorge, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor and being a very trusted mod. Frankie Fresh, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meter. And Wales, Josie Wales, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Joseph Kupiak, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Jennifer and Joseph in here. How awesome is that? Mark Caston, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year now with the I Told You So badge. Beautiful, beautiful indeed. So thank you all for tuning in. We'll be here, like I said, I'm going to do 20-25 minutes, and then I'll let you guys be on your very way. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You won't be able to see it now because of that. Here, I'm going to hide that so that you guys can see it. I forgot when it's in vertical. You're not going to be able to see it behind the comments. I keep forgetting it set it in vertical. So, yeah. Nick, I hit it. I hit the comments, Nick. Don't worry. It's not that you're slow. It's just that it set it in vertical. So, with that being said, good evening. 6:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, May 1st, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to get through this real quick. I'm not going to keep you guys for very long. We'll do this kind of like an update style since I can't really look at the comments. And I apologize for the vertical, but I think we just make the best of it. Now, in the past, the reason I want to look at this is because we're in a wave 4 consolidation. So 3 to 4 finish, and then the 4 to 5, you know, when we actually got into the 5th. So, I mean, you're talking about a pretty lengthy consolidation until it finally ended. You're talking about, it ended on about somewhere around March of 2017. It started in December of 2000, we'll say, December of 2013, and it went all the way until March of 2017. So almost 4 years it took, 3 3/4 years. So about 44 months, 44 to 48 months it took. This time, when we got into the wave 3 corrective into the 4th, you know, before we powered through, ultimately into the 5th wave. So the 4th wave corrective, because we topped at 3 right here, this time it took, and you started the power up from here, but I mean, it took a little bit of time. I mean, you're talking, this took several years as well. You're talking about in the July of 2020, and it started January, so 2.5 years. So in one circumstance, in the initial drive up in the 5 wave, the 4th corrective took over 3.5 years. The second time up in the 4th corrective, we literally took over 2 years, 2.5 years, but then we had a failed 5th wave, And then it went into a WXY correction, or if you want to say an ABC, a 1, 2, 3, you know, 4, 5, 6. I don't care what you call it. It was a 3-wave correction, it looks like. And then it started a fresh 5-wave Elliot wave right there. So then we had a wave 1, 2, 3. Now, the question is, how long is this one? So if you make it like it was for the shortest of the two, and let's just say 2.5 years, you go from January of 25, that would put you all the way until 27. Like, I mean, you're talking about, for whatever reason, this one's not going to take that long. But I really do feel like we can come down in this range. Like, we can come down here. I do. I feel like we can take this out. I mean, we know the history down here near $1.30. I think we can take this out. I do. And would I be shocked if we had an overextension back to that $1.18 point where we had the initial push up out of the descending wedge where we started to find out how truly bullish we were? Absolutely not, I wouldn't. So the question is, how long does this take? Because after a rather substantial consolidation out, you know, it wasn't 4 years this time, right? This took about 2.5. So I don't think we're going to have as long of a wave for. I think it's going to be shorter. But I still think it's probably going to line up with the end of the year. Remember, after the pumpkins come out, we start to feel bullish, but it's not until that final drop when the pumpkins are out that we truly go into that holiday miracle. I almost feel like it could be something like this. I really do. Now, if it happens like that, it happens like that. And what that would look like is we would have to fill this channel out. And it's still very bullish. If this does this in the 4th wave and it corrects through here like this, so then you're kind of like, right? I mean, look how fucking bullish that would be. Oh my God, I'd want to scream if this fills out. If 4th wave just sends us through here, 5th wave would just surge. It would just surge. Oh my Lord. I'm begging it to do something like that. I know short-term pain, blah, blah, blah. But let's face it. It's got to happen one way or the other. We've seen it in 2 past cycles from 2014 to 2017. Or actually 2014 to 2021 when it was all said and done when we got through to the next repeat. But you know, so we've seen this before. We've seen this before. So it's not going to be unlike this to happen. So if you're new and you've never seen this, this is the way I see this. If you look at this through the Elliot wave. And I'm going to even put it into the monthly so it's easier to see like from a scale. And you'll still be able to see it, just you're going to have to use your thinking cap because it's going to be in higher time frames. But we bounce from here for 1, corrective 2, way up for 3. And then we had this long-ass corrective wave. Long, 3.5 plus years. Bounced out, finished it, and then we started a fresh wave. Like we literally restarted. And went BAM! And I mean, it looks a little weird because we're in the monthly, but I think you get the picture. You go into the weekly, it's very easy to see it. And then you start going from there. Up 1, down 2, up 3, corrective 4, out to 5, but it failed. Went into a WXY correction. I like the WXY personally, saying it like that, but you know, each their own. I'm not going to judge you for not liking what I like. But I think that's what ended up happening. I think we went down to a W, up for an X, down to a Y correction, and then we broke into our first wave. Then 2nd corrective, 3rd, almost like an impulse up. 4th is that big corrective down. And the only reason I had it like this was just to emphasize like that resistance so that you could see where that resistance was. It's the same. It still shows the same bounce. It's just earlier. But I could see it stretching out. And I would also love to hear what everybody has to say about that while we have some time together here. Because like I said, I'm only going to be doing this for like, you know, maybe another 10, 15 minutes like this. Because like, it's hard for me to even do this because I know nobody can see it. So, but then I'm going to eat dinner anyhow. So I think this happened for a reason anyhow tonight. Said, hey, we'll get together, but this looks like shit. Because it does. I get it. Neat. Nick, I'm being honest with you, and I'm telling my audience right now, I'm going to keep, and this would be for a bounce down to like that $1.18 to $1.32 range. I'm going to keep, and especially the FVG at $1.50. I'm going to, you know, for the, if it comes through there, I'm going to keep some because I know this fourth wave is a very big corrective based on its past, and we should get blindsided here shortly. I don't want it to, but I could see it happening. But I'm probably going to, and I've been tempted. I'm either going to keep, I'm going to cut something by the nutsack. Instead of buying it back later, it's actually going to go into XRP. I'm just not sure what. I'm not sure what. But I believe the market's probably going to fall into some kind of turmoil soon. But I think I could be wrong. I'm just looking at it on the past history of XRP. But the thing is like, let's not kid ourselves here. Bitcoin on that weekly engulfing candle, if we do break over 99,631, we're probably going to 109 to retest the all-time high. And think about it. In Discovery, we dropped like between 35 and 40% from the top. About 36. No, that's not right. 35. And, oh yeah, that's a big difference. 35 or 36. But, we did correct. So now when we get back into Discovery, we've got a lot of this wiped out. So I don't know if we're going to come all the way down, because honestly, I could see this being a very quick wave 4, and then it's just emphasized and bounces out. I don't know if we want it to do that so quickly, but I'm all for it. It just might cut us in the nuts. You know, it might cut our upside potential is the only problem. But I'm all for it. I'll be honest. I'm still all for it. Whether it wants to go, you know, the promised land before it comes down to where I want it to or not, I'm all for it. I don't care. As long as it goes up and goes to my targets eventually. I don't care how it gets there. I'd rather it take out some of these gaps and have that big springboard. But, like, you know, I don't often talk the Elliot way, but I've been doing it more and more slowly, entering it into my discussion so that we can see it going in the all-time chart. And since we're on a lengthy wave 4, which could end up being a WXY or a, you know, ABC style correction within, before wave 5, like, we've been doing corrective waves, almost like impulse and such in the moment, but we definitely have some big resistances we're facing, and there's no problem with this chart. Like, I'm telling you, I really do feel like I'm gonna have $5,000 or $10,000 of dry powder sitting there for XRP if it did come down. Maybe not, and it might not even have to be XRP. You know why? Because you could put some on XRP if you don't have any, obviously. But I think if we did something like this, XLM would end up, it's almost weird how it is though with XLM, how it's set up, because XLM's kind of telling us the story that we're early. And I only say that because we had a death cross here, and now we're coming up as resistance, even though it's kind of throwing us some kind of flag. It's almost telling us we're too fucking early because that death cross is coming for confirmation. It's almost like a trap here, so it's making me confused a little bit in regards to it just going to break out now, because it almost looks like it's going to come all the way back down and test this area again. It almost looks like it. I don't know how to describe it. And if we come back here finally and we actually open it up like we should now, look at this. Like, as long as it doesn't break back, we're actually back testing this region. So we have no reason to be afraid when it's in the zone. Man, look how long that took though. But I still don't like that though when you look at it like that. I do. I guess I have to respect it, because that was the wick up and then it hits here. I mean, I suppose, because I want to give it a little bit of credence here, that you can also look at it like this. See what I'm doing here? So that almost puts it in that 2-layer. This is almost starting to build a fan of resistance. And now we're stuck in that little channel, which is it's very opportunistic, but it's also very dangerous if it's an early breakout, because then it'll simply just come back and retest the support of the structure, which is at 20 cents. So we'll see. It's just that death cross being there makes it a little scary until we re-break out. That's why it's very important to have the 2 layers there. With XRP, not looking horrible. It's just we keep getting rejected at that 229 area. And with that, if we can't break past there, we still have this death cross that we have not completely, I mean, it's not a death cross anymore. This bearish cross that we were working on a longer term death cross in the daily, which never happened because we bounced off the daily. But now since we got rejected here of the one of two areas in this pattern, it's just like XLM, except it's wider. It's just like what we did with the 2 layers on XLM. XLM's was just tighter than this. So it didn't have as much of a variable. So XRP, we very much have to get over that section. What do you mean? I'm almost done. It's in oh no. Yeah. It's in vertical, Julie. But that's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna end it in about 5 to 6 minutes so I can come help you. Okay? Let's see. What does that say? I'm here. Tornadoes touching down in my ear again. Aaron, you be safe, my friend. You be safe. Seriously. That's no joke. We've had some pretty interesting weather today, too, in Michigan. We had some really rainy and a little bit of storm, but not bad storm-wise. Just a lot of rain. Zachary says, Tommy will make me a mill. We will. We're going to. We are definitely going to. I do my best, Zach, to keep it real, my friend. It's just who I am. Fear and Greed at 56. Interesting. I believe VELO has way more intrinsic volume than ZBCN, and they currently have the same size market cap. That is true. That is true. It's very similar market cap. ZBCN has had a little bit of a rally. And we're kind of at that point right now with ZBCN. It's either going to make that break up and finish off this little cup and handle here, or we're going to have another corrective here. But it did come down nicely. We'll see if we can finally get out of here. It would have a nice, I mean, it's building a inverse head and shoulders here. It just popped out prematurely, so we're waiting for that right arm to build up again and see if it can make one officially. Or if it breaks down, if that ends up being a bearish pennant, you could say that you cut down to the 821. But VELO's up 5.4% today. Again, VELO cannot get back on the right side of town. That big-ass channel it was in, it's trying to reject out of it on the bearishness. So we're in dangerous spots, folks, on some of these. And I love VELO, but VELO has got to get back over here at about 1.6. And then maybe it can start doing something. But, you know, it's going to have to start doing something here in a matter of moments. Otherwise, if it gets a rejection, it could be deadly. Gold took it on the chin today. It was down about 70 bucks at the peak. I think it finished around 50 bucks down. Commodities, you know, back in their place. B2 gold back under $3. Pan America silver back on right around 24. First Majestic and Fortuna slipped back under $6. Silver's was down, gold was down. It's what we were thinking, that we had to have a nice correction here. And it's just the back test here. As I drew this out for the bear flag that I thought was forming here. It didn't quite come all the way into the box. It came, well, I mean, if we would have measured it from the actual drop point, it probably would have made it look better. But then we looked at it a little bit lower. But anyhow, just got to stay patient. Got to stay patient. But that's basically it, everybody. It's not going to be the hour today. And now that I see in vertical, you know, at least we can get through something. We can get through something, make the most of it. And then if XRP were to break down, you know, we've seen the two areas, but then if it came all the way through, I mean, you could technically come back down into that area. But if I'm looking at this on a breakdown, I'm not going to look at that chart. I'm going to look at, like this. Whoops. Like this right. Nope. This one. This is the chart you should be looking at, take a picture of, because right now we're stuck in this pattern. Then if we lose the, what is this in real time? If we lose $2.02 still, 202.96, that's where it gets dicey, and that's where you could start coming all the way back down in this area, which I think it makes sense for this big long wave 4. I do. I think it makes sense. It makes sense. It's just a matter of, are we going to do it? And in crypto, when something makes sense, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you so much to the 35,000 plus subscribers. Over 35,500 now. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who spent 20 minutes with me here. Instead of doing an update, I just did it this way. I figured it would be good like this. Nick, yeah, so many alts are holding the monthly 20 MA. Some are struggling to be rejected by it. Exactly. I agree with that. I think it was a good live for what we had together, everybody. Whether it goes bullish or bearish, keep that positive mindset. I'll try to do something later, but obviously you guys seen YouTube worked against us today, but we still didn't let it beat us. We still did what we had to do. Julie, I'm going to go inside and so we can get the girls the stuff, because Scarlett should be here, right? She should be here soon. Okay. So...